This is about how to win when people feel stuck. And I'm going to tie in this winning into a little model that I'm going to share with you. And maybe I'll draw the model on a piece of paper for you guys. But first we have to understand like what is going on with people today. So people have a whole lot of stories inside their mind. And their story is always in conflict with their fantasy. The story is everything of past, the fantasy is everything of the future. And the turbulence is your confusion of why you're not in your fantasy and living in your story. And we normally don't want to take ownership of this, which is probably a fair statement, because you don't understand it. You don't understand why your past stories are keeping you from your future fantasy. Now, if we could break this down, and first off, anybody listening, I'll make sure the link goes in here. We have a couple things coming up for you. One of the things that's coming up for all of you is I'm doing a talk on February 8th, and I want you to lock in your calendar. I would register quickly if I was you. I'm going to be talking about AI, not about AI and this game changer and all this stuff. Everybody wants to tell you like you're all going to win and your life's going to become easy through this chat program, and all of a sudden it's going to be like the NFTs and everything's going to change for you in a brand new way. Your life went from difficult to easy. I mean, you were able to ask Siri pretty much the same amount of things you're asking today. But hey, I get it. Everybody's looking for the next silver bullet, right? They're looking for the next thing. Like, Mike, can you just make it really, really easy for me? Right? Can you make it really simple for me? I want to be famous. I want to be all these things. I want my company to grow. I want my relationship to grow. But I will share with you that this AI is going to change the way humans think. And that's the world I'm in, right? I'm in the world of helping people understand how you can think different, how you can change the story, get to your fantasy. And the only way you could do that is you got to understand what's happening in the world today and the dynamics. Everything is human behavior. Everything's human behavior. Somebody was asking me, and make sure you type in the chat bar, please. Type in the chat bar as you hear things or things resonate with you. And somebody was asking me, like, I don't understand, like, how did you build this $32 million company? How'd you get employees? How'd you attract employees? How you keep employees? How'd you build the largest in training implementation organization for the blue collar space? And then like, and the other question was, why are you doing what you do today? Well, one, I mentally outgrew the service industry because I learned how to grow the company myself. So then I went into helping people grow, and then I expanded beyond that because I was helping people. I just heard the latest stat is we created 40 Deca millionaires now in the last less than, little over 24 months. It's a lot of Deca millionaires to create. But then through both of those journeys, I understand this thing of personal development. I understand this part of what really gets results, what really changes the game, what really shifts things for everybody. So if your company is struggling, it's because you're mentally struggling. If your people are struggling, it's because you're mentally struggling. The growth and scalability, anything, is based on the growth and scalability of the mind and your thinking process. So let's break down a couple simple models, and I'm going to throw something you could watch later in the chat bar there. We do have something coming up that will help you guys out. It's coming up in March. It's called Change the Channel. And I'm going to share a little bit about what we're going to cover, but really it's not about what we're going to cover. You shouldn't attend an event by what we're going to cover. You should attend a training based on the change and shift that you need in your life. And that's why we're doing Change the Channel in March. And you can watch what Kevin Harrington is saying. He's going to be there. And this is very different than most, because any of you, and if you've ever been in my world at all and you've been to any of my trainings I've done, I mean, man, at CEO Warrior, when I was still there on a full basis, we were doing 35 3-day events a year. And I've interviewed some of the top gurus on the planet. I mean, Jay Abraham, Larry Winget, Brian Tracy, Mike Michalowicz, the list goes, Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk. And interviewing them, what I'm known for is uncovering things that no one else ever asked them. It's a new distinction, right? And to get to your fantasy and to kill or modify an old story, you need a new distinction. And the new distinction has to shift. I'll give you another video in this stream just so I could keep track of it. You could watch this later. Now, if you know what a gap analysis is, let's see if I could draw it on here. The gap analysis is always about this, right? It's always about this right here. It's about where you're at and where you want to go. All right? Now, in this gap analysis, there's always a ladder of steps, right? There's a ladder of steps. But what most people don't talk about, because they're like, well, if I just do new things, I'll get new results. Well, is that really true? Because what happens is there's a line that's going back the opposite way from where you're at to where you want to go. There's a line pulling back. Your greatest future is already built. It's waiting for you to catch up. But the problem is we call that the resistance line. The resistance line is how you're thinking, how you're behaving, your patterns, your habits, right? They're all driven by shames and guilts and traumas and programming. That's why you got to show up February 8th, because I'm going to talk to you about what this new technology is going to do. And for those of you that show up, you're going to have a super advantage to how to succeed in every aspect of your life, your relationships, your health, your mind. Those of you that don't attend, well, I make no promises what's going to happen, because everybody's going to inflate this secret sauce they think they have. Now, let's look at another model here, and let me know if you're on live, if this yellow pad is working this morning for you. So the first thing, and I taught this to a group the other day here, and the first thing is you have a symptom, okay? You have a symptom. And this symptom here is something that is getting in the way. It's a symptom. It's something that's happening right now. And it's keeping you from getting to that fantasy of what you want, debt-free, legacy wealth. And if you want legacy wealth, type in legacy wealth in the chat bar. And if you want to be financially free, or you want to be physically vibrant health, or you want to be really, really connected to your relationship, tell me in the chat bar what you desire. Because when you take the desire from your mind into the eyes of others, it starts to create itself. So tell me what the desire is. What do you want, right? Now, when we have the symptom here, we now need to, on the symptom, to break it down, let's do this as a triangle. You have to first identify the symptom, and you have to get very true with the symptom. You have to have clarity on the symptom. What is happening right now? What's holding me back right now? I want to sell my company and I can't. What is holding you back? I want a better relationship and I don't have it. What is holding you back? I want to get healthy. It's always to a symptom. Now, everything follows the mind. The body follows the mind. The results follows the mind. Now, if we know that we have a symptom here, well, then we need a solution. You need a solution. But most people can't identify or grab a solution because what happens is they're so stuck in the symptom. So what do? They think they can figure it out themselves. They think if I read a book, the quickest way to get a solution to a symptom is to find this. An expert that understands how to move you quicker and faster. I find it fascinating watching what is perceived experts today. People that are teaching people how to grow companies. They never owned a company. Teach people how to sell things. They're not even they've never done amazing at selling. People that teaching people how to grow companies, and their own company had to shrink, right? Because and their own company went out of business. People teaching relationships. Oh, you should date your wife. But they're on their third or second marriage. You don't need to date your wife. That's when you're not, you date when you're not committed, everybody. When you're committed, you don't date. Now, if you have to recommit, then maybe dating's going to help. But if you're married, you're not looking to date. You're looking to experience. You're looking to grow. So now I have to identify the symptom and I need a solution. Now, when you have these, both of these just want to get you one thing, right? One thing. It wants to get you a result. That's all it wants to do. It wants to get you a result. You have a desired result. And the result is your fantasy. Now, it's only a fantasy because you haven't achieved it yet. Once you achieve the fantasies, then the fantasies will become your new stories. And the more empowering stories you have, the more you can get those desired fantasies and dreams to come true and come true quicker. But everybody has a story. The story is, I'm too small, I'm too tall, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I don't have this, I don't have a resource, it's hard to get this, it's, if only you knew, it was easy for you, you were lucky. There's no, there's no luck. There's the ability to identify a symptom, to figure out a solution, to find someone who can answer the solution, to move me quicker and faster. That's why I'm doing Change the Channel. I don't have to do Change the Channel after selling 2 companies in the last 5 years. I'm doing it because I wanted to give the most affordable avenue for the human to go from average to superhuman. The ability for them to take a chance on themselves. What's the worst thing that could happen if you spend 2 days with me? You lost 2 days? That will never happen. What's the best thing that could happen? You hear the one distinction that changes everything. I am a huge believer. It's 80% psychology and 20% skill sets. And people are putting 80% of their effort and time to get the 20%. And wondering why, after 3 decades of understanding all the stuff, the marketing, the sales, when should you recruit? Always be recruiting. Come on now, really? Regurgitating stuff for 30 years and you still haven't moved forward. Your relationship. Think of every aspect of your life on a life wheel and where you're stuck. And do you not know how to get unstuck? You don't, because you'd be unstuck. You'd be unstuck. You have to identify the symptom. The symptom is you think you know. The symptom is you're stuck in your story. The symptom is you are controlled by this fear and these shames and these guilts and these traumas and these stories. And someone says, that's all you could be, or don't do that, or don't work here, or don't take on that. Your whole life is filled by someone else's programmed opinion of what you should be until you break through. Until you break through. Now, there's a focus issue here. There's a focus issue. How do you know? Oh, well, it's Bitcoin, and then it's NFT, and then it's the chat function. It's like the next shiny thing for you to nibble on, right? And the world is so good, instead of stepping back, that's why February 8th, we'll keep putting it in the chat bar. That's why February 8th, I'm holding that about the new world of AI, because I want you to stop nibbling things like a rat that cheese has been thrown for you. I don't want you to live like that. Now, I don't know. Clearly today I had so many technical difficulties because maybe something or wanted to try to keep this message from coming to the one person who needed to hear it, the one person who needs to take a chance on themselves, the one person that needs to move forward in a new direction. But if you can't even get real with the symptom, and most people are sabotaging and feeding the symptom. They feed it with their mind and like, you don't understand. It's hard. I'm broke. I can't eat that way. I can't. No. Today is the easiest time that any of us know to win, to make money, to exist. The best time in all of histories that we know. You know why it's the best time? Because literally you can deliver stuff to people's houses and make money. You could sell things on Facebook Marketplace. You could have a piece of garbage and sell it online and make money. You could go in your shed and grab stuff, your crawl space, your attic, and sell things and make money. At the drop of a dime, at the speed of light, with the ability to take a picture and post it immediately and start to win. And people act like you can't win. No. You can win. You have to go back and identify what is the symptom that's holding you back. Is it the old thought? Is it the when you were 10? Is it your dad said you'd be nothing? Is it said you always have to work this way or don't work this way? You have to be a corporate. You got to be blue collar. Like you've been formed by a whole bunch of world until you choose to form yourself. Now, if you look at this, once we identify the symptom and we know the solution, the quickest way is expert. The quickest way. Not someone that tells you what to do. Because if people fish for you, that's called living off the system. That's a very old phrase, right? I don't want to teach you. I don't want to tell you, do it for you. I want to teach you how to fish so you can fish for yourself, so you can feed yourself. Anytime something's feeding people too easy, they will not feed themselves. How do I know? I was in the same situation. Same situation. So you gotta make a decision. When are you going to learn to feed yourself, to grow yourself, to go to the next level yourself? Now, if you go back hundreds and hundreds of years ago, well, it wasn't easier. It was just different. It definitely wasn't easier. Right? You just did your job, came home, shut up. You didn't need to grow. You needed to know how to twist a wrench or push a broom or whatever. You didn't have to expand. And then when you wouldn't expand and things got tough, instead of making you tougher, we feed the weakness. Now you probably should write that down. Like, what weakness is being fed for you today? I was telling my son the other day, hey, Mike, hey, Christina, Antonia, what's happening? I was telling my son the other day, I was on unemployment once. I went there and they shoved me in a room, must have been 30 people. It was hot. I had to prove that I was looking for a job. You had to show 3 of them. If you remember that, type in remember if you were ever in that position. When I sat in that room and looked around that room, I said, I am not this, I am not them. It was probably unconsciously said, but now that I reflect back, I can see that moment, and now I know the new distinctions, the new decisions I made. I'm not these people, and I'm not them. That's not me. I am a person of solutions. I am a person that will work. I'm a person that will move. I am a person that will study. I'm a person that will figure out. I'm a person that will solve. I will not suck off any system. And that, now I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just sharing my own experience, and maybe my experience motivates you to do something different, to get up. If you got nowhere to go, someone will pick you up. I had people that worked for me, and some of them ran upon not the best decisions and hard times, and some of them they lost their license, and some of them got divorced and that problem. And guess what? I had them driving a truck with people. We worked it out. They understood. They didn't ask for that, but we worked it out. And I helped them because they were willing to help themselves. If you're not willing to help yourself, you're willing to stay stuck within yourself. Type in what you're taking away in the chat bar, everybody, because this world is so filled with significance people. Look at me, I'm the grand Oz. Guess what? In this vast universe, you're pretty much nothing. You're a speck of nothingness. And you're also a speck of everything. The minute you start to say to yourself, hang on a minute, I can change the game by changing myself. It's not mindset. It never was mindset. Mindset was a framing to keep you stuck. Some of you have heard me talk about this before. If you poured concrete in your mind, now my dad was a mason, actually all his brothers were pretty much masons or trade people. If you poured concrete in your mind, it stays stuck. It doesn't go nowhere. That's mindset. You don't want mindset. You want mind growth. That's why I wrote the, and look, I don't make any money off books. I've sent out thousands for free. So if you don't want to go to Amazon, buy it, reach out to me, private message me, give me your address, and I'll mail you a book. I take care of postage and everything. Why? Because if this one book changes one person, then that's perfect for me. If that one book, that's why I wrote the book Mind Power, because after over 3 decades being an electrician, building a service company, building a coaching company, I figured it out after sitting back, and it only really happened, like it really distinctly happened when I sold CEO Warrior, and I took a break to step back and go, what keeps people stuck? Why did I create and have my fingerprints on over 40 decamillionaires? All 40. Now, eventually, I probably won't have my fingerprints on them because I'm not in an active role there or anything. But over 40 decamillionaires, the legacy changed, their family changed, the way they eat changed, the way they live changed, the cars they drive changed. Now, yes, I think I probably would have did it a little different. Maybe I would have took equity in those if I redid it again. But I was honored to serve. Now, they probably thought, at one time, all of them in my world probably thought they spent a lot of money on training and coaching. But those that became decamillionaires, you know what they think? They spent nothing. They spent nothing. They spent nothing. Because they got the desired result, right? So you got to ask yourself, 1, what are you investing in yourself? Number 2, what is the symptom you're dealing with? What is the solution and what is the expert? Now, in the middle here, action. Action, right here. Action. That will get you to the result. Now, who do you trust if you can't even trust yourself? That's the big thing today. I trusted a lot of people in my journey. Not all of them should have been trusted. There's a fair amount of wolves out there taking advantage of people today. That stuff doesn't go over well with me. What I want you to consider is this. When are you ready to change yourself? It's the only reason I'm doing that event in March. I don't need anybody there in March. I didn't need to fill a room with 300 people, have my whole team. I'll be there. My wife will be there. My son will all be delivering. Kevin Harrington, he's going to be there, and I'm going to ask him questions like, how did he think to build? How did he think to change? Mark Evans, Mike Michalowicz. I don't need to do that. I'm doing it because it's the most affordable vehicle that people, and if you don't invest in something, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're not willing to invest in your future. You're just not. The tickets are, man, it's got to go up. I'm just be transparent. But you get a ticket for $400 and something. Come on. How many things do you need to learn? At what point are you going to get ready to move forward? Well, look, if you don't have money, well, at least show up to the February 8th, 7 p.m., where I'm going to talk about this new world and AI and teach you about what this is going to do to human behavior, to new human distinctions, to new human patterns. Remember, I'm not going to talk about that, game changer. You don't even know what game changer is. People, you know the theory 3 feet from gold? People aren't even looking 3 feet ahead. How are they going to know they're 3 foot from gold? They can't even see 3 foot in front of them right now. They can't even see that right there. Blows my mind when I think about it. And actually, it's frustrating a lot of days for me. And I don't know. Sometimes I wish, and then I go, why? Sometimes I wish, like, why do I even care? And then I'm like, because there's one person that needs to be cared for. You know, that's why I do it. I know why my soul's on the planet to do this. So let's shift gears slightly here a little bit, and then we'll wrap this up and type in an action item in the chat bar. Let me see who's here. Sam, what's happening? Humble Pie is bitter at first. And Matt Puzio, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. It's an awesome book. Thank you. Bill Pulte, what's going on? All right, make sure you type in a takeaway there. That model alone that I just shared, from the symptom to the solution to who has the answer to your solution to the result to taking action, pretty much can solve a lot for most of you. It's the rewiring of the thinking that changes everything, right? Changes everything. So let's look at, where are people today in the world? Where do you think they're at as a whole in the world today? Like, what is the distinctions that are moving them forward versus holding them back? Because from my perspective, and it's probably a very short and tiny lens, but I think it's a big enough lens, because I'm speaking to thousands of people either virtually, and I got a bunch of speaking gigs. I'll be speaking on stage in front of a bunch of people. I'm going to South Carolina, I think, and Ohio, and a whole bunch of places to do some speaking gigs. And if you're interested where I'm speaking, hit me up in a private message. I'll let you know where I'm speaking at. It might be cool for you just to see that, or maybe leverage, or maybe I'm going to a cool experience that might make sense for you too. When you start to sit back a minute and say to yourself, where am I not rounded? Where am I rounded? And it does go back to the life wheel. And I want you to write down a distinction that I came up with. I knew it for decades, but really solidified it recently, is nothing could change on the outside till it changes on the inside, right? Changes on the inside. And I remember speaking, Antonio, we'll put the link. It's probably also up in the top. We'll post it a couple more times. You can register for that, the AI training on February 8th. When I was speaking on stage one time, they have this green room. They make you, feel fancy and stuff. And I tell them I don't need to sit in no green room. I did it once. I thought it was really cool. They're like, you'll sit in the green room. I was like, oh man, look at me. Like, that'd be a big shot. Like, am I going to eat like just green M&Ms or something? And then I sat back there, and only once. And then I was around I won't mention the names, but some of the most high profile speakers out there today, business builders. And I'm listening to their life, and I'm going, oh my goodness, this is a effing train wreck here. This is horrible. I'm sitting here, and then that guy goes on stage. His life is amazing, and I went, man. So now people say, oh, you're going to sit in the green room. I'll sit is it cool if I sit in the back of the room? I just need a bottle of water. It don't have to be like Fuji or nothing. I just need a bottle of water. Is that okay? And I don't need no green M&Ms, and I don't need no security. Like, people said that would change for me. Is, oh, you don't know, when you sell a company someday and you become a Deca Plus millionaire, you're going to change how you are, and blah, 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 blah. Well, part of that's true. I've become more focused. I've become more disciplined. I've served so many more people since that happened. You're right. Some change does happen, but it doesn't change you. It just changes your focus on where you want to serve a little more, a little better, a little different. But let me find this link here, Antonia. I'm going to dump this in for you real quick. Anybody that wants to join, this training's completely free. It's going to be February 8th. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to talk to you about everything about this AI and this new world in a way that other people are just not talking about. So I'll dump that in the chat bar for you. Make sure you sign up. Do me a favor, share it with anybody that needs to hear that, to hear it for the future. And I look forward to seeing you there. And if anybody knows anybody that just needs a shift and a change, we have that training coming up in March. It's March 18th and 19th. Super affordable. I made it as affordable as I can. There is different levels for you to choose from. And you'll get to hear from me, but not only just me, you'll get to hear from me, my distinctions about the new world moving forward, shifting, changing, modifying things. You'll hear from my wife's perspective. My wife will be there. She'll be speaking, and you'll get to hear from her perspective. And this is a place where a husband and wife can go. If I could rewind time, people always have this thing. If I could rewind time, I would change nothing. Oh, bullshit. I would change all kinds of things. I'd have made all kinds. Well, wait, your decisions got you here. I said the change in those decisions would have got me different for sure. This is a place, this world that we've built here, myself, my whole team, my wife, my son, Aaron, and everybody on our team. The world we built is a world where a husband and wife can come and grow together. A family can grow together. It's not a place where only one person feels they're growing in the other. It's not a place where you're just going to learn marketing, sales, and operations, and your wife or husband's home like, oh, I'm missing out. I don't relate. Why would I sit there? This is a place where a couple can grow. And if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. And if you're not growing together inside your own mind, your mind's growing apart. So I hope some of you will consider either entering my world. I'm honored you're here watching this. And I definitely felt compelled to deliver that model. So I'm going to wish you guys an amazing day. Love you guys. I got to go get some stuff done for myself. And I think I'm going to go make a little breakfast now. Boom.